Hi everyone, it's Joey with Krypton to Alderaan, and for the next few minutes I would like to talk about Project Luminous, aka Star Wars: The High Republic. So let's break down what it all means, when it is, why it is, what it is, the creative team involved, and what we know about the stories so far. Last week, Lucasfilm announced that Project Luminous was indeed code for the High Republic, a heretofore unexplored era of Star Wars history. A collaborative effort from many creators, the High Republic will span published media, from children's books to not children's books to comic books, telling the story of the Star Wars galaxy 200 years before the Skywalker saga, or as I like to call it, BSS. It's mostly BS, am I right? Or if you prefer, before the Phantom Menace, or BPM. It's mostly BMs, am I right? The Creative Roundtable consists of a myriad of creators that have told their own versions of Star Wars stories throughout the years. As someone who's recently been reading a lot of Star Wars published content, I really recommend checking out some of their work. And I love the footage of creators storyboarding at Skywalker Ranch. I mean, this is what I want to see from my Star Wars creators. Several companies will be involved in the publication of these stories, which gives us more of an opportunity to do less cookie cutter and more independent storytelling. But who cares about publishing? Let's talk about the story. We gotta look at multiple pieces of concept art, including new characters. Oh, Loth Wolf. New settings. We gotta look at new lightsaber colors, new lightsaber hilts. We gotta look at the Jedi headquarters. It's probably gonna get blown up in the Great Disaster. Frankly, they should have used a lot of this art in the beginning of the trailer instead of showing us clips from the Skywalker saga films. We're told that everything will begin with something called the Great Disaster, which will happen in the beginning of Charles Soule's book, The Light of the Jedi. Now, this is very important because I think as Star Wars fans, we're kind of getting tired of the same old thing. It feels like creators trap themselves in thinking about a big fight or fallout that will happen at the end, and then working the story backwards.
We have to go back, Kate.
I know that for me, as a Star Wars fan, I want to know the history and the lore. There's no need to tailor everything to some big climactic event. Apparently, several main characters will appear across multiple books and comic books, creating one vast, intricate, interconnected story.
It's a web.
We're also told that the big question asked in these stories is going to be, what are the Jedi afraid of? As it turns out, I think the Jedi are going to be afraid of a new villain called the Nile. Perhaps it's because the Jedi can't swim.
Now I really wish that I knew how to swim.
Overall, I really like the look of this. The Jedi designs, the Nile designs. I love the bright colors and the hero look to it. It's happy, it's nice, it's bright. It's not dark or brooding like something we'd expect from sci-fi or comic book or Star Wars content these days. I mean, we're talking actual Jedi Knights. We're talking peacekeepers of the galaxy. I don't think they were ever peacekeepers. I think the Jedi are just a galactic version of martial law. I mean, why would you have a laser sword if you're a peacekeeper?
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice.
I'm sorry, what were you saying? I love the idea of storytelling from a new era of Star Wars history. Leave all of this Skywalker saga stuff behind. And one of the most interesting things to me are the new Jedi characters, one of which in Charles Soule's book, The Light of the Jedi, is said to hear the Force as a song. We are left with some questions. This only takes place 200 years before the Skywalker saga. Will we get a younger Yoda? Perhaps not a baby Yoda, but maybe a younger Yoda.
When 900 years old you reach, look as good you will not.
And a big question that I have is, will we get Sith? Based on what we know, the Jedi don't know the full scale of the galaxy, so the Sith could be out there somewhere. And in fact, are the Sith controlling and empowering the Nile? Otherwise, how are these beings standing up to Jedi? Overall, this might be good testing ground for Lucasfilm to see how fans react and interact with non-film content. Sure, there have been books and comic books and video games before, but the High Republic is set up to tell one galactic-sized story across published media. And we'll have to wait for Star Wars Celebration to know a little bit more, but for now, I have my finger on the pre-order button for any High Republic content. Alright, that's all I have to say. You got anything you'd like to add? Comment below. If you're not familiar, we also host a podcast called Krypton to Alderaan, where we talk all about nerdy pop culture stuff, but it's mostly Star Wars. Check back here for more videos, and until next time, stay Star Wars smart.